Hey there viewers, my name is Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're jumping right back into the usual routine, trying to get a win with every species in the game, and of course where we last left off, we'd managed to do alright on good old Fuzz Aldrin. We'd made decent progress, a little bit slow at times, but we're definitely making it through one room at a time. We did manage to get the snake rune right at the end there, so hopefully we can continue that trajectory forward, but who knows what the dungeon has in store. So without further ado, let's get ready to hop right into it, shall we? Good old Fuzz. I mean, I do remember having statue form up, we have a radiate, OTR and ignite poison should do alright for us for the most part here, so feeling good. Let's hope that we can keep the progress going. We did unfortunately use up all of our blink scrolls in various emergencies last week, but hey, we didn't need those anyway. I'm sure we'll be just fine. If we are going to be heading into Shoals, I guess that's where we can start off today. What do we want to do? We can finish off the regular dungeon here. We could head back to Shoals, which was a little bit of a nightmare, don't get me wrong. But we're definitely feeling a little more powerful now. We've grown into our paws, as it were. Let's maybe start in the regular dungeon. I know there were some rough things like those centaur warriors, but statue form definitely helps out a great deal with dealing with those sons of guns. Let's try it out, shall we? Head down to D12, hopefully not run into Kirgi again. And okie dokie, so where were our centaur friends? One over there that may or may not have woken up since we were last in these parts. And I'm guessing... there we go, the dead cat body. That's a good indication of where we might have been at the time. We don't have any extra lives, so we definitely want to be a little bit careful and cautious here. We have a scroll of butterflies. We just need to get some bodies in the way between us and a rampaging centaur. Speak of the devil. But as long as we can get up next to you, we should be just fine. Let's see, where was my radiate? Fantastic. Still taking a lot of damage even with statue form online, partially because of how many times or how many turns it takes for us to take even a single step, but hey, we'll figure it out in the end here. Oh my gosh, this whole floor is just filled with them. We have all the lives we need, just don't get hit forehead. You know, we do have decent evasion. We're currently training dodging. It should be easy, just don't get hit. I can't believe I didn't think of it myself. We'll do our very best at the least here. Okie dokie. With these buddies around, I think I'll just end transformation so we at least have the extra speed to just back away from the situation, and let's, I guess, go back to resorting to fulminant prisms. It's been a little bit since we had this method for killing all of our new friends. Ooh, and that one was a little ill-placed, but not the end of the world here. And we'll keep taking you for the ride of your life, my friend. One more should do the trick. I guess if I can place it in a conducive way, at least. Oh, not quite. Don't make a fool of me, my skeletal friend. There we go. Fantastic. Almost fantastic. Let's just run upstairs, rest up, head right back over this ways. See if we can't run into these friends in a slightly more conducive situation. There we are. Both of you are in the explosion, and we'll keep trying to get them both caught in the blast. It's going to be a little bit tricky to do so. But maybe, just maybe, some good vibes only and all that fantastic stuff. In fact, there's another one down, just one remaining. And beautiful. I almost thought for a second there that I stepped into my own fulminant prism. Definitely wouldn't have been the first time we had that issue. But hopefully that kills you, and it does. Absolutely fantastic. And we can head back throughout the rest of the floor here. I mean, if we could just run into more orcs, I would be a happy camper. That's much more my speed. Unfortunately, I don't think it's really in the cards for us, but hey, a young cat can dream, no? I also think we will remove this exclusion. Why, hello there. Hopefully you were the one that was asleep up here. It looks like he might have been. At least one of the 3 or 4 centaurs that we've killed on this floor must have been. But fantastic. That's much more like it. And now we can just get back on the road here. Beautiful. And it's a good warm-up. It's nice to get the DCSS muscles flowing here before we have to jump into shoals, which is going to be its own set of challenges, to say the least. I also, I've cold vulnerability when I'm in statue form. That's something I should definitely remember, especially when a simulacrum was coming at us full steam ahead. Do I want to change off the Ring of Fire now? I think I do. Fortunately, this MP-9 is still a bit of a deal breaker for us. Only having 20 magic points is not exactly going to be the dream scenario. But maybe what we'll do is we'll switch over to a Ring of Willpower, so we at least are doing okay in one of our resistances, since it seems to be something we're going to be struggling with a fair bit over the next little while here. Maybe some sweet artifact rings will change that, maybe even an artifact amulet, so we can get to something a little more helpful than the acrobat. Ooh, arrow from beyond? Don't like that. I mean, fortunately, the Hydra is not actually going to be too much of a problem for us here, because we have a high enough AC that each head isn't able to do a heck of a lot of damage, so that's nice. We do also have Irradiate as an option for when things get desperate here, and in fact, now that we've killed off everyone else, we can throw one of those into the mix, and beautiful. Hey Railbird, how's it going? Always nice to see you. Thanks for dropping on by. I hope your human fire elementalists can't talk at all. I hope your human fire elementalists have been going well. We're doing a bit of an OTU in this run here with the choice of Sif Muna. And of course, why does it always have to be Centaur Warriors? Want to just hang out at this corner so that we at least have some recourse for when that son of a gun comes after us. Even if we had a Wand of Digging or something, that would be a potential option. Maybe I'll meow. Meow for attention? Absolutely nothing. Maybe we head up around this corner here, and that might bring us a little bit closer to our friend without being quite so dangerous. I'm still just horrified. We've seen, again, how badly that encounter can go. So we'll just play it slow here, not resorting to auto-explore, and instead just take a bit more of a manual hand in things. Oh, entrance to vaults. Ah, and it looks like it's a shapeshifter theme. Perfect. Let's see. Can I get away from these centaurs at all? Not so much. Unfortunately, nothing like ignition to help us along in our attempts here. Maybe we'll just have to take one more step back. And at least if the Centaur Warrior comes in first here, then we have a hope. Have a dream. Not that other things here aren't scary as well. Hello, your Sifmuna Felid. That's some crazy evasion. Gives a whole new meaning to Glass Cannon. Yeah, when we have that acrobat boost from our amulet poppin', it definitely is a decent score. Unfortunately, not something we can rely on too much. I feel like most of you probably know my less than positive or less than glowing reviews on evasion. Generally, whenever possible, I like to have some recourse in other departments. But there we go. Hopefully this shapeshifter or these shapeshifters don't turn into anything too frightening. Gotta say, fire crab, not great. So maybe we'll be putting him back on this ring of fire here. And actually potentially even just resorting to an irradiate. Really? Did hit them, just no damage, huh? Well, in that case, I will start channeling magic, especially with the snapping turtle transformation behind. That was not great. And let's see, maybe a Quicksilver wand to just get damage on both of you real quick like here. And perfect. Okie dokes, not too shabby. Main concern there was that Centaur Warrior. Ooh. And we also got a scroll of blinking out of the equation, so that's just beautiful. And yet, we once again come across, I mean, a fire giant, yes, but also that Centaur Warrior was more so where my attention was being drawn. But we can keep this son of a gun poisoned and kind of just kite you. Unfortunately, it's going to be a relatively slow process. You have a lot of health, and with the whole you being a fire giant, we unfortunately can't resort to ignite poison to kind of catapult our damage into the next level here. Maybe a bit of cold to help us out. Probably shouldn't have done that. Let's just play it safe and stay at the edge of visions, shall we? Okay, it's still safe up here, and we feel a bit more experience. There we go. There is still that aforementioned Centaur Warrior. It seems to be a bit of a theme. The game has sensed our fear in that regard and is forcing us to face it, to put it simply. We should be just fine here, especially if we get lucky, and they are around this corner, so that's fantastic. And now, what do we wish to do? Some more fighting training is definitely warranted. Feel like it could come on pretty quickly or level up pretty quickly, and every bit of health goes a great deal of distance. The other side of it is deciding where we want to take this run. Do we want to become a storm cat with manifold assault? Because I do like the sound of that. Trying to think of how long it would take us to train up air magic to the point where we could cast that. Alternatively, a bit more transmutations training and just a smidge of air magic on the side might do the job here. Vulnerable Prism would be really good for your character if I have it. We do, yeah. We started out as a conjurer, so that was our bread and butter for the longest time. And yeah, I have high hopes, Dr. Pirate and Fuzz, I believe. We all just have to believe together. But let's start off with fighting, and maybe even a bit of spell casting, since without spell slots, being able to cast more magic isn't exactly going to be doing a heck of a lot for us. Pika? That's the plan. And, okay, everything's fire-themed in this day and age. Good to know, good to know. Let's get you kiddos to come to me. Beautiful. That should work out alright. I don't love this situation here. Do I have anything? Not really. I did do a bit of conjuration training last week just to get Iron Shot up, and so that might be worth learning. But again, as I mentioned with training spellcasting, we have a lot on our list of things that we want available to us, and it becomes a bit of a trickier question as to what we can afford to learn. Maybe Irradiate on the Elemental just to get the job done. Cut out the middle person, and then definitely change rings here. Let's go to Protection from Cold, so just switch gears completely. You don't have a lot of health, my friends, so if I just back around this corner and Irradiate you once, beautiful, that's what we like to see. And if we could get just the slightest break from Centaur Warriors, I would be a happy kitty. We'll see, though. That might be asking for a bit much, unfortunately. Ooh, and look at that. +8 chainmail. Yay. And just tons of gold. If only this was our Gozag run, we could actually do something with that. It seems like we're going to have to get into a bit of a routine here of just switching back and forth between our various rings. Again, I'm I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that we will come across an artifact ring at some point here that actually gets a mix of these effects to good effect, I guess. But who's to say what the rest of the dungeon has in store? Ouch. Definitely is a nice eye-opener there. Even in statue form, we are by no means invulnerable, invincible, or any fun mixture of the two, unfortunately. At least that son of a gun is a bit more vulnerable to our spells here. And, okay, I am currently on Ring of Fire, that's good. And we can just let you step up to me, my friend. And do one of those again. Do I have any un-ID'd things? I do, so let us quickly read through all of these ID scrolls. We have one potion of resistance, so that could be the solution for one encounter. Not exactly sustainable, though. On the other hand, invincibility, we might want to start, or well, that was my wistful thinking coming out. Rather, invisibility is another thing that I would like to use probably relatively early on here, while we still have mostly enemies that are vulnerable to that, or to be more accurate, that are unable to see invisible. But we'll see how the luck turns out here, and then definitely need to bring these slimy boys into a slightly better situation for us. In fact, that kind of works out beautifully for Irradiate. And fantastic. That is much, much better. Again, one bad rock could put us in a bit of a rough spot there, but just get lucky. Forehead, fantastic. It again turns out that we didn't actually need to go with Sif this run, and we could have just relied on coming across our, oh, hello. Where the heck did you come from, my friend? But we could have just hoped for coming across Roxanne as we did here, because that is a guaranteed source of statue form on any run. Though probably too little too late. I don't know how we could have possibly gone through all those centaur warriors without the added defensive capability. But we can at least irradiate these two sons of guns. So close. What are my chances of hitting you? 92%? I'll definitely take that. And similarly, should be able to deal with you, or we could get our contamination coming down just enough that we can resort to other means. Do I want to just go back to regular cat form? We do have a lot of level here, so let's go for it. Use the extra speed. Oh no. If I'm paralyzed, I'm dead. We have the space for it here, though. We can switch over to our, where are you? Ring of Willpower, please and thank you. Now, how are we looking? 2% chance still, which is not grand. Not exactly ideal, but might be fine. All things considered here, especially if we can blow you up. Beautiful, there we go. And then we'll just take our lovely dire friend here on a bit of a walk in the park. Fantastic. Let's see what else we come across. More of our favorite buddies here. Hello there. In fact, warrior? Hello? I don't really want to take too many steps further into this nightmare zone. There we go. Never mind, it all works out. And we did just pick up another extra life there finally, so that, oh gosh, is beautiful. That's a lot of arrows coming in. That 40 evasion is going a heck of a long way. Only 9% chance. A lot more than the Centaur Warrior, unfortunately, but fortunately, we didn't have to deal with that stuff, and beautiful. Now I think we've proven, unequivocally or unequivocally game, that we can deal with Centaur Warriors, so maybe, just maybe, we could stop seeing those sons of guns. Of course, Rupert comes with his own set of challenges. 120 health. That Berserker Rage is going to put us into like one-shot territory, so I'd prefer, for the time being, let's just walk a different direction. leave that son of a gun alone. Rupert is a no. I would have to agree with you there. But there we go. Okay, that was our nice warm-up for the day here. Go down to Dungeon 15, and I guess what that leaves us with is to head back into Shoals and see what's what. Polyphemus was there, and is slightly scary, but not the worst. And definitely, at the very least, something that we have the tools to deal with, I would hope. I guess there's no time like the present to just get to it. So let's head up that direction and take a peek for ourselves. We can always back away if things look untenable. There was Polyphemus. So he still had a Catoclebus and a Yak, potentially. These might just be after image shadows from our previous trips here. Down this direction, ooh, right. Alligator, Snapping Turtle, and Satyr Fawn Pack. Not exactly everything we were hoping and dreaming for, but let's get statue form up and head this direction. And take a peek at some scores. Turns out, not after images, folks. They are in fact here. Hooray. So, you hit twice and you can throw large rocks. Yeah, the large rocks are going to be a problem. If you get into melee range, 152 health is more irradiates than we have the capacity to do, unfortunately. Unless we get super lucky, in which case we can get in 2 max rolls and he's pretty much dead. Can start with the poison though. And in fact, if I could just take some of you kiddos upstairs, or that works too. One more ignite, probably worth it. Now let's just take a swing for the fences. Beautiful. And now 2 irradiates. I was hoping would do the trick, but that's fine. We can finish you off the old-fashioned way. Hey, Colgate, how's it going? Nice early stretch redemption in the stream. Make sure we're keeping limber, keeping light. It's important to stretch. That's rule number 3 of survival. Something like that. Rule 1 is cardio. Rule 2... I don't know, rule 30-something is enjoy the little things. It's been too long since I saw that movie. But let's pick up this book that we'll never really bother learning anything from. Beautiful. And I guess we might as well be stepping towards you, especially if you're just going to be missing us with all your attacks anyway. Passage of Galubria. This is another one of those spells that makes the list of ones that everyone raves about and everyone swears by. But I've never quite gone to the point where I've used it and it's, you know, kind of clicked for me. There's always that run where you use the spell for the first time and everything just kind of works out. But one of these days I should definitely learn it, especially since on like Formicid runs, it's one of the few methods of teleportation you can actually do. Cat statue, woo! Yeah, Passage of Galubria is so good. Exactly. No, I think that's the popular opinion for sure. It's a dynamic spell. I think that's the big things. I just need to learn how to use it properly. Do you want gates set up anywhere? Or everywhere, rather? It's less likely that you'll be taken where you want, so maybe you want to open up multiple gates and then strategically go into ones to get them to disappear. Something like that. Maybe this will be the run to try it on out. Good for offensive defense. Definitely need the defense. Do I go for Stormy Cat? So that was something we were discussing at the start of today's stream, is what avenue we want to take. It's currently one of our only real options of recourse for the future, so I think we will be aiming that direction, at least in the near future here, and then we'll see how things go from there. You know, if we come across Ignition, maybe I'll be tempted to drop everything. But I am definitely a sucker for some Manifold Assault style builds, so I could definitely see that being the option. And we do 100% want to get the, hello, Ilsui. What am I thinking about? We want to get Manifold Assault up and have some way of dealing with further enemies here. So throw Icicle is a lot of potential damage, so we can definitely switch over to our cold resistance ring. Yeah, you're a worse option than Polyphemus, really, all things considered. I guess you haven't seen us, so could hope against hope that... Yeah, you know what, that makes sense. As soon as people start shouting is generally when things go downhill. Also, he does just have a Robe of Resistance, which I believe is just Fire and Ice, so still have Poison as an option for you, my friend. And with Passage of Globria, you can often escape by casting it twice in opposite directions, step into the mill portals, and often gets you out of line of sight. Nice, nice. It's nice to get done before the Manifold Assault nerf. Definitely, although it's still pretty decent after the nerf. At the end of the day, unarmed combat, unless they completely change the way the spell works, it's still going to be super solid, just because of how much damage output you can have with a really high score of unarmed combat training, I should say. But Manifold Assault always makes you think of that video where the guy's at a birthday party and just starts slapping everyone. The power of the slap is real. I mean, most of us have probably played Goldeneye at some point in the past, and, you know, it's the only way to really go about things. But there we go. We're able to take care of most of the defensive crowd here. I think I'll start channeling magic now. And, ooh, I never did switch to that cold protection ring. Actually, do I have to worry about willpower? Not so much. So perfect. Let's switch over to that son of a gun. And let's see, what kind of trident do you have, my friend? Perfect. Ice and fire at the same time. In no way really built to be dealing with that. Ooh. And that's a bad time to lose statue form, my friends. Well, what I probably should have done here is red teleport after we'd taken care of the initial crowd and just reset this fight. No real reason not to. We have 10 teleport scrolls, tons of opportunity, lots of space. Very unlikely we would have wound up somewhere worse off. And now the alternative, unfortunately, is what? That we use blink scroll? Our one blink scroll? Goals does not seem a scary place to use. It used to be with clarity or sufficient will in any sort of ranged attack. It's pretty easy to stare dance. Yeah, if I was a little more reliant on stare dancing, I think it would end up doing some good work for us. But okie dokes, there isn't water nearby. So that makes me feel like we can potentially just take a couple steps away. Give us time to reassess. This son of a gun does up to 22 damage, so if I just step to the left here... don't know. It's probably not worth it. Alternatively, we could IMB and hope that we push everyone off of us, and that also potentially does some work. Hey Kidley Winks, what do we do with you? Would I rather use my final blink scroll or lose the one life that we just finally managed to get our paws on? There's some nerd that turns stairs into water, but other than that, yeah, always got to be careful for them, for sure. You know what, I think I will take the slight risk here. Take some steps back from the situation. And in fact, if we can gain enough ground, even the merfolk going through water, or, you know, if you call the tide, I guess that's an issue in its own right. How fast are you, my friends? Because we're pretty quick on our feet, too. So we might actually be okay to just keep walking here. Especially if Ilsui just keeps teleporting away from us. I guess blinking, to be more accurate. But there we go. We got to the stairs. Can re-engage statue form. And now I potentially even... Do I reset, or do we keep going at it? Because now you're pretty close to dead. I'm actually feeling alright. We have 2 heal wounds potions, so we could always resort to that. Lots of curing as well. More than enough. It's always bad how tempted I am to keep going. But Colgate, for your Formicid Hunter run, you just used big crossbow and really heavy armor and regen amulet. Regen faster than the enemies with only your initial 4 range skill from the Hunter background. Oh wow, yeah. That's impressive for sure. Oh, and you were with Jivia. I see. Because Jivia gave you clarity for Shoals 1 and 2. Took that away, but gave willpower to the extreme. Nice. But okay, let's go for it. We'll start with one of those. Throw out an Ice Blast while we're at it. And then Ignite Poison should get us pretty dang close. In fact, if I just IMB you, beautiful. And there we go. Not too shabby at the end of the day here. Keep blasting you back. And beautiful. Super happy with that because we didn't end up having to resort to using any of our final consumables here, whether that be our Blinking Scroll or our extra life that we have stored up. So that's just about as good as it gets, but we 100% do not want to get our hopes up too much because this is Shoals after all, and we still have a couple floors to go. Things have a habit to get a little bit nasty as we continue forward. But I think... I was gonna say, I think that Full Nib Prism hit you, and it did. Unfortunately, the flip side of that is it did almost nothing. But there we go. The mixture of all of our offensive capabilities does bring it all together here. You don't remember ever getting resistance to electricity from Jivia? Is that possible for a mutation? Off the top of my head, I don't think it is. But I'm also not exceptionally familiar with all the Jivia mutations. I'm sure there's like a wiki page for it or a command to find it in the source engine. But definitely if anyone else in chat knows, let us know in turn. And we'll see if that's something that we could be hopeful for in the future, even though I'm not sure if we'll be worshipping Jivia too much on the last few remaining characters we have available for this series, unless we get super lucky and end up seeing them early on. Yeah, I'm using way too many Quicksilver bolts to try and take this son of a gun down. Only 30% chance to blow your mind. Apparently a little closed-minded, these alligator turtles. They should work on that, you know? Self-improvement is important. One more Quicksilver? Gosh darn it. We are even hitting you, it's just doing absolutely nothing, so that's just great. We'll get the heck out of dodge, replenish our own health here, and then we can even come back down. Yeah, do you know what? You're still hurting. This is beautiful. Works out just fantastic. And we'll keep just blasting you from afar here. In fact, I think we will step up, get the irradiate off, and beautiful. A little bit riskier than I should potentially be going for, but hey, worked out this time. Better to be lucky than good. Definitely step away from that alarm trap before one of these harpy sons of guns trips that son of a gun off. Playing this game really brings out the sons of guns in me apparently, but I'm sure you all have recognized that. And there we go, a bit of steamed merfolk for our trouble. A good hearty meal as we continue onwards into Shoals 3. So far not looking too horrible, all things considered. A lot better than the last time we were here, to say the very least. And let's see, that is, yes, Siren. So I would prefer not to get mesmerized here. Fortunately, it looks like we might not be given that opportunity. So we're just gonna have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall here. And do I leave before we get blown off the stairs? I think we do.